Hey everyone, this is DeagleBeagle, and today we're going to go over. See, that's what I'm not sure if it's VGC 24 or 23 because it's post World, so generally it's supposed to be the next format, but I'm not sure. It might. It seems like logically it's VGC 23 actually because it says Regulation E, which is like the fifth format of that season, so I suppose it is VGC 23, but we'll see. So, anyways, I'm gonna rank all the Pokemon. I had just taken all these sprites out, and this is a good website, PokemonDB.net/sprites. Even though I wish they would list the Pokemon as a separate name if they have a different form, like Alolan form. But you can go to, like, you click on it and you see the other form, even though it doesn't say a lowland version until you like go to save it as something. So I guess it does show that. But anyways, so let's go over the tier list of just the new Pokemon. We don't need to do a tier list of really the older Pokemon because it's gonna stay relatively the same. And there might be a few changes, but we'll have to see. That's more complicated. We'll have to see how the metagame progresses. But these this list doesn't have their pre-evolutions, only some of them that have been used in the past or that I think have potential as a pre-evolution, like Clefairy or I think Charabug. Did I even put that in here? I thought I did. Well, whatever. We'll go to that later. Yeah, it is here. Uh, so let's just do it in order. There's going to be very few S tier Pokemon. Well, I suppose I could do those first. I know Komao and Galarian Weezing are likely to be S tier because of everything overall. Especially Weezing, its abilities really carry it because it has amazing abilities. But almost every part about it except its abilities are kind of trash. But the fact that it has such good niche abilities might just really carry it. Like neutralizing gas is just really good, and it shuts down so many strategies and can help your own team. Oh, wait a minute! I forgot to put Slaking in this list. Jeez, I'm pretty sure. Was that even in the teal mask picture though? See, that's why I think I forgot it because it wasn't in there. Uh, So, Slaking, I'm going to save it. Okay, I'm going to have to edit this really quick. So you have to add Slaking. See, I put all of these in a folder and submit it. Okay, good, it has it now. Phew. So one mistake when you're uploading these images, by the way, is you think it erases all the old images. And before I pasted it like 2 or 3 times extra, like duplicates of all these Pokemon, because I thought it would delete everything else, and it didn't. So, anyways, Ambipom. Or by the way, this Pokemon just has like Clangorous Soul and good coverage offensively, and is way better. I think it's way better than it was in the past. That's why I think it's S tier because it's gonna be S tier because it just looks like an amazing sweeper. And with Terra Steel, like the 4 times fairy weakness isn't such a problem like it used to be. So yeah, I think Como will just be really good. I mean, you don't have to use Terra Steel with it, but it would just help with like Flash Cannon. But with Throat Spray, you might not even need it. But I would use it though, probably at least for now. So Ambipom. So here's how I'm gonna define it. S is like top tier. A is like almost top tier. B is like B and below. I wouldn't probably use in a tournament. It's like really niche. It's pretty niche if it's B, where it's possible. I mean, I don't even know if it's possible for it to be usable, but maybe on the perfect team. And then C is like uh, even more niche. I probably should just take out um, B and C tiers because to me there's only, or at least one of them, because there's only really to me a few tiers that I care about. Top tier and Pokemon that are not top tier but are still usable in a tournament, and then one, yeah, so I guess four tiers, and then one tier where it's like, I'm gonna delete this. So so top tier, the tier below top tier where they're still usable in a tournament. B and below I wouldn't use in a tournament, but B is technically viable where like another Pokemon doesn't outclass it, and C I would just like never use. So I should edit this really quick to probably, well, no, it's fine. I'll just do it for mine. So Ambipom, it does have an itch, so it's not C tier because it has. Actually, I should open up Showdown again. It has like Technician and stuff, and people obviously did use it for a reason. Skill Link, I think, is the better ability. Well, actually, yeah, Skill Link with Tail Slap. So you could use that, but 85 accuracy, nah, screw that. And even if they all hit, I don't think it's that good. I'm gonna say B tier because I don't think it would be ever usable in a tournament, but it's not technically outclassed by another Pokemon to the point that it's useless. Yeah, so C tier I would say are Pokemon that are just outclassed in pretty much every way, and they're just like never gonna be usable. But a Pokemon that's B is like super niche, where maybe on the perfect team it could be used, or at least it's not outclassed technically by another Pokemon, but it's not something I would probably use in a tournament. And then Arbok, I think that's pretty bad. It does get Intimidate, and it's typing. I suppose since it has Intimidate and it's unique typing, it might barely be C tier. What tiers am I using? Let's close some of this. B tier, I mean, but it could be maybe considered C tier. And then Carbink, it does have potentially a lot of special defense in sand, so I'm gonna make it B. But I don't think it's gonna be a useful Pokemon in general. But probably not outclassed by something else for what it might do. And then Ariados, I know it has, I think, Sticky Web and something else. Insomnia. It has Rage Powder. Wait. Sticky Web, does it have String Shot? That's still, I don't think that's useful though. Sticky Web. That's a unique move. How many other Pokemon get Sticky Web? I might make it not the lowest tier just because of that. Yeah, Vikavolt might outclass it. But what else does it even get? Rage Powder. I just don't ever see this Pokemon useful though. As useful. When you could use Vikavolt with Yeah, I'm gonna say it's useless because you could use Vikavolt if you want Sticky Web or String Shot with some other Pokemon. Like I think Vikavolt learns it, and Charabug, pretty sure. So Sticky Web, String Shot, yeah. So Charabug. Uh, the appeal of Charabug is that you have Eviolite and you have a lot of bulk, but I don't know if I really see the point of it when you could just use Assault Vest Vikavolt if you're wanting more bulk, because it has lower HP too than Vikavolt. So let's see with Eviolite, it has really low special attack. So the same special defense. It has a little less HP. It actually has more defense and battery. This Pokemon's allies have the power of their special attack multiplied by 1.3. This doesn't have that. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good ability. That's like Power Spot except for only special moves. So, but is it gonna be like A tier? Let's see. That's low special attack, and no, it's not. But it's definitely B tier. And then Basculegion is just crap because we already have Basculegion. Um, what forms are they called again? I think it's Galarian, or I'll check really quick. But regular Basculegion just seems to be outclassed, like in every way. It's I think it's Hisuian form actually. I don't know. Whatever it is called, Basculegion is just outclassed. Chandler. Yeah, this Pokemon in the past, actually, for many formats, has been really great. But I just get the feeling like it's still going to be good, but not nearly as good as it used to be. Like, it's probably going to be A tier. I mean, there's just a lot of Pokemon that counter it now. I mean, there's Fluttermane with Shadow Ball, there's Qianpao with Crunch. Mm, just more Pokemon that can super affect it, possibly. I'm going to say A tier because let's go to Pikalytics. Um, it doesn't do well versus Rapid Strike, Fluttermane. It does do fine enough versus Hands and Amoonguss. Not that well versus Landorus. It does okay versus Tornadus. Uh, Chien, I mean, it could use a defensive Terra, but it's just like when there's stuff like Chi-Yu or something you could use instead, or Heatran, Flash Fire. I mean, you could maybe use it with like Trick Room and a Fake Out ally, but I don't know. I mean, it would be good versus Rillaboom and whatnot, and Goldango and Cresselia. I mean, it would be pretty good versus a lot of the metagame, but it just has a lot of defensive weaknesses. I get the feeling like it's A tier. I don't think it's gonna be top tier. And then Chimecho's just bad in like every way. I looked at it, and this Pokemon's just crap. So whatever you're trying to do with it, you could do something better with something else like Cresselia. So just don't use it. It sucks. And Clefable, that Pokemon has Follow Me and its ability, I think it's Unaware. Magikarp, whatever. But I think it's like a B tier. Generally, you should use Clefairy instead because that's Eviolite, and Clefairy is probably going to be A tier. Um, it might be higher than A tier actually, but I don't think so. When you could just use stuff like Indeedee with follow me. Let me see the other follow me users. Oh, I keep going to the wrong tier. Mouse hold, yeah, those are just probably going to be better. But, well, actually, let me think about it. Clefairy is also friend guard. And then let's compare its stats to mouse hold. 74, 70 defense, 75 special defense, and then Clefairy has lower, but it has Eviolite. Let's just compare it this way. HP is about the same. Special defense would be higher with Eviolite, but it would have to use Eviolite when you could just use like Citrus Mouse Hold or something. And defense would be higher. Same ability, slightly different moves and typing. Yeah, I'd say it's like a lower A tier. Is generally it's outclassed by mouse hold. I almost want to make it B tier, but I don't, because I would be putting it in the same tier as Clefable and all these other Pokemon that just seem far worse. And let's go to the next one. Conkeldurr, that would be good. I mean, in Trick Room and stuff, but generally you would probably want to use like Hariyama or something instead. But with Drain Punch and more attack and Mach Punch, I suppose it's A tier. It would be decent versus some of these, but I think it would be best designed with Trick Room to outspeed and knock out stuff and beat Ursaluna. Cramorant, I don't remember that Pokemon ever being good. I think it was just like a gimmicky, fun Pokemon, but I think it just didn't do that much. Okay, so yeah, that Pokemon was pretty bad. I mean, I suppose it has a niche, but yeah, it's just so crappy that it's just never going to be useful compared to something else you could use. And then Credant, I mean, it does have technically a niche, but you could argue every single Pokemon has a niche, though. Like, it has its exact typing and moves combined with something else. Okay, so Hyper Cutter or adaptability. You might even want adaptability, and I don't think it's useful. Its stats are decent, but could be better. But it just like waterfall or liquidation, whatever it gets now, crunch. I don't think that's going to be very good at all. I mean, it gets Dragon Dance and whatnot, but I just don't think it's going to be useful. It has a lot of defensive weaknesses. Now, Dusknoir, that Pokemon. Did I include Dusclops in this list? Dang. I don't think I did. I'll have to include it. Okay, but Dusknoir is generally going to be worse than Dusclops, because Dusclops has like the same defenses almost, and a little less attack, and like less speed. It just seems better than Dusknoir in almost every way. And Empoleon, that you could use Defiant with. That is, if you make it physical. But let me go to it in this. In the past, I know it's specifically walled stuff. I forget which Pokemon, but basically Pokemon that either just have fairy moves, or they, like I think Xerneas, or they had just a combination of stab moves that Empoleon both resists. So this Pokemon is probably going to be B tier. It just, I don't know. It has decent stats and everything, but it doesn't seem to be amazing in anything. It seems to be like a jack of all trades Pokemon and somewhat niche, where it's like, unless it resists both of their attacks, it's probably not going to have enough of a niche. So I'm going to say it's B tier. Furret is probably in the lowest tier. Yeah, I don't see that it has anything that useful. There's another Pokemon you could do that would do this better. Whatever you're trying to do with Furret. Now, Gliscor. That has been great in singles, but in doubles, I don't remember it ever being that useful. It's more useful in singles where you can use its defensive typing to its advantage, but I don't think it's better than Landorus T at anything, really, except Hyper Cutter and Poison Heal if you use Poison Heal. But that's not enough of a niche to really use it over Landorus T in doubles, so I'm going to say it's like probably C tier, not quite B tier even. And regular Golem, I don't think has anything going for it. You would want to use the other Golem instead. I mean, Rock Head, what would you even use that with? Like, Double Edge? Or was there another move? I don't know. You would probably use Sturdy with it, but no, that seems like a pretty bad Pokemon. The Golem regular, it might have had a niche. Sorry, did I say Golem regular? I mean Alola. Magnet Pole, no, that's more. So Galvanize, and it having its unique typing. So you could even use Double Edge with it. I think, how slow is it? It is pretty slow. I think it's barely B tier. I mean, it might have a slight niche, but Galvanize and its low speed and Trick Room, that's probably the only thing going for it for the most part. And Luminous and Volbeat, they do get Tail Glow, I'm pretty sure, which raises special attack by 3. Oh, maybe it's illegal. Is Tail Glow illegal? Let's see. Maybe if they change it. But without Tail Glow and Baton Pass shenanigans, I don't see this Pokemon ever being good. So if Bulbapedia says it's not allowed, then yeah, this Pokemon's garbage. Along with Illuminous and Volbeat. I think that's Volbeat and that's Illuminous. And Infernape, in the past, in 2010, that was good, but that was like probably the only year that I remember Infernape being usable in doubles, and that was mostly because it was used with Shadow Force Giratina, and it had Encore, and Fake Out and whatnot, so it probably would be like a, let me see, like a B tier Pokemon. Not trash. Fast Fake Outer, but I don't see it probably being that good. And I should add Dusclops before I forget. I don't know why I forgot it. So Dusclops is going to be, someone said top tier, but I don't agree with that. At least not yet. I mean, maybe it has the potential to be top tier, and in years past, I think it was at some point, like when Wolfie was using it and lost to that one guy in finals. I think Andrew Ding or whatever, a few years back. But this season, where's Dusclops? Oh, it's probably going to be A tier because for Yggdraff, it's probably better. It has a better ability than a useless kind of ability like pressure or something. Let me see what it gets. Frisk is useless in OTS. It was better when there was no OTS because it could use Frisk, but with OTS now, it got a nerf, and you could use something else like Ferg Draft instead. I mean, Dusclops would have, I think, more bulk and possibly Pain Split, but you could get taunted by even a Prankster taunt Pokemon, and I don't know, it doesn't really do much. Like, you could Will-O-Wisp whatever, but I don't think this is the right metagame for it. And with Flutter Mane and Chi-Yu and whatnot, I don't think it's going to be nearly as good as it used to be. So, I'd say A tier. And Leavanny, I think, is bad in every way. I don't think it even has a niche. Any kind of niche. Just all of that, all those abilities, there's another Pokemon that's better than it for what it would be trying to do. So yeah, this Pokemon is useless. I don't see any potential niche for it. Now, Ludicolo will probably be, let's see, it's good versus Rapid Strike. It's decent in general, especially versus the Moongus, Landorus, etc. As far as top tier, I don't think it'll ever be top tier because it relies on rain and there's a lot of different weather and people can use, like, I mean, it just relies on weather. So you have to have like Pelipper or Politoed with it or set up manual rain. But it looks like it could do pretty well versus a lot of these Pokemon. So it might even be top tier, but I don't think so. I just don't see it. I mean, Rillaboom would cause problems for it, Tornadus, and all these other Pokemon. But I'd say it's definitely A tier. Magcargo is pretty bad. Magcargo. Yeah, Yawn, Protect, nonsense. Flame Body. This Pokemon doesn't have really anything that's that useful in doubles. It's probably better in singles where you can use its typing to your advantage, but it has so many weaknesses and just bad at so many things that it's got to be C tier. And Mamoswine, I say is A tier because it just has good offense and its bulk is probably barely enough to wall things that super affect it if you invest a little bit in it or even if you don't. So it just seems like it's good, but I don't think it was ever top tier at any point in VGC history. And Mandibuzz was pretty good in years past. I know. I believe I used it, or at least I either used it or faced it in Seattle years back when I got top 10. It was just pretty good with its bulk and whatnot. But this year with Flutter Mane and all these offensive Pokemon, uh, I just don't think it's gonna be that good. Let me check again. Yeah, I mean, as its ability overcoat, but the Tian Pal and whatnot, I think it's gonna be more like B tier. You could just use Tornadoes instead, even though it has less bulk. I mean, just its dark typing has a lot of weaknesses. And dark flying, yeah, that's gonna have a lot of weaks. And then Mian Shao, uh, I think Mian Shao's niche before has been its ability, inner focus. Let's see, but it only getting one stab without Terra is kind of annoying. Isn't there? Let me look at the fake. Let's look at the fake outers. No, let's look at the speed. Because inner focus is pointless unless they have a faster fake out, generally speaking. I mean, there is other flinch moves and stuff, but unless they outspeed, they can't flinch you. That's a fact. So, not a lot of fast fake outers in the meta. The meta is like the fastest fake outer is probably like a Rillaboom. Even though someone could use potentially Tinkaton or something. Why am I not seeing Tinkaton? Oh, it's probably lower speed. Yeah, I just don't see its ability being good. You could use something like Infernape instead, or there's probably even some better fake outer that's slower. And Mighty Anna, I think, is garbage. Let's check. It does get Intimidate. I just don't think it has what it takes to be a good Pokemon. Yeah, there's better Intimidators out there. Even, I probably should move Arbok down. Wait, what typing was Arbok again? Pure Poison? Hmm. Is there another Intimidator that with a similar typing? Let's see. I think there's Arcanine, which already resists Fairy instead of Poison. Yeah, I think I meant to move Arbok to C tier, and Mightyena, and then Melodic is probably gonna be A tier. It just has some good. It has a good ability, two good abilities, and it just can coil and like force them into having attack it, so it can't just set up coil and hypnosis everything. And then Morpeko. I think this Pokemon's not bad. I'm trying to think of what tier it's in though. Fake out. It is a fast fake outer. It has decent speed. Does it have the same speed as Urshifu? I think it does. I don't know what tier it's in. Let me double check what it used to get. Oh, never mind. Same thing. More pick the hunger switch one. Hangry switch. Hunger switch, I mean. So, wait, what's the difference? Electric Dark and then more Peko. I forget what this does. Full belly and hangry mode at the end of the turn. Uh, let's look it up again. I forget. I think it was decent. Full belly mode. So hangry mode. More Peko. Let's just look at more Peko. So its typing changes. I don't know what full belly mode means. Maybe it's just referring to its typing changing. Um, okay, it says it here, finally. It gets hungry again. I almost feel like it has to do with eating the berry or something. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just referring to its, I don't know. I think it's like either B tier, probably not A tier, probably B tier. And then, I don't know why it took so long to figure that out. And then, um, Ninetales Alola and regular Ninetales I think are going to be useful. Just having weather and just having weather alone. But other things it gets to. Noctowl with Insomnia, I think could be, well, at least in other tiers it was a niche, but in VGC, yeah, that's a great ability, but that's like all it has. It'd be funny if you use Rest Talk with Psycho Shift, though. I don't think it might not even get Psycho Shift anymore. Politoed is probably going to be upper A tier. It being possibly better than Pelipper in a lot of cases. And Poliwrath, I just don't think is good in any way. You just look at it and I mean, in singles, it's been an NU Pokemon. I remember using that and Noctowl in the NU tournament years ago, like in 2010. So, it just doesn't get anything that useful. So, don't use it. Probopass, it gets nothing really useful because if you look at it, Magnet Pull or Sturdy are its best abilities. Maybe your Sandforce, but it just has low offense, and this is more of a singles Pokemon to trap in like a Skarmory or some Steel type and start really controlling the board. But in doubles, you can't really do that. Sandslash Alola is gonna be have a niche with Slush Rush, but other than that, it's not going to be that good. Regular Sandslash is just outclassed by stuff. I mean, actually, is there another Yeah, there's Lycanroc, so you could probably use that instead. Shiftry does have a really fast fake out, so I'll probably make it B tier, but I don't think it's above that. Snorlax is going to be A tier. Pretty good, but I don't know. It might even be top tier, but I don't think it'll quite be top tier. Just I mean, it has decent moves, but probably I mean, a decent coverage and stats, but there's just other bulky Pokemon like it, and I don't know. I mean, it doesn't super affect a lot of Pokemon, so we'll see what tier it's in. And then Swanna just is kind of bad. Doesn't get anything that useful. It gets Tailwind, but not priority. And yeah, Torterra, it has unique typing and it is immune to Spore, so I could make it maybe barely B tier, but it being 4 times weak to Ice and has all these weaknesses is concerning. So yeah, I feel comfortable making it B tier. Vitribell, um, well, in the past, if you could use like you could have used like Venusaur or whatever, but I don't think Vitribell is any good because you can use Lilligant instead, like Hisuian form. Yeah, just use that. Don't use this Pokemon. And then Trevenant, let's look at its ability again. I think it's Harvest is its best ability. But with all this, actually Poltergeist with this might have an itch with no item, and then you harvest, well, yeah, you harvest, I believe. Am I wrong at the end of the turn? Yeah. So you could have no item, keep poltergeisting. Yeah, I think it might be barely B tier for this one. And then it does have ghost typing, can set trickery when it's immune to spore. I feel comfortable making it B tier. Vikavolt is gonna be probably A tier. It has good stats, even though I feel like people are overhyping it. It's good outside of Trick Room, and it's good in Trick Room too, but it's not going to do amazing because it has low speed, and its offensive coverage is alright. Bug does super effect grass, which resists electric. But in the past, I think it only did really well because it caught everyone off guard. And then Wheezing regular is just outclassed by far by Galar. So, like, never use it. Yon Mega is going to have an itch, but the likelihood of you. I mean, you have speed boost, but that's, like, mostly what it has. Like, I just don't see it being that useful in general. Let's see again. If it is A tier, it's very low A tier. It. Hmm. It's probably. I'm gonna make it B tier, but it might be very low A tier. And then Slaking is gonna be. Since you can use it with Wheezing, in theory, it's gonna be not that bad at all. So it's probably lower A tier. So you can use it with Wheezing, but outside of that, it's not very useful. So I think there you have it. There's the tier list. Did I get every single Pokemon? Let's double check. I think the teal mask. No, where is it? I don't know. Oh, it's this one. What? Whatever. Yeah, I should be able to open it with the free file thing or whatever I had, or WinZip or something. Maybe I opened it with before, but yeah, I think this tier list is good enough. I don't think I missed any Pokemon because I caught myself before. So yeah, please share this on Twitter and get people to use this. I worked on this. It took about maybe 30 minutes, but it seems useful. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.